Just come get my son first. No, have somebody come get my son. He in the house with me. No. Yes. Hey, y'all, I just want to say I'm sorry. This is going to be the last day everybody hear from me, bro. This is going to be the last day y'all hear from me, bro. I'm sorry. There's just been too much going on. Police out here.
Like any other normal day, Arieuna Nichole Reed began her daily routine as a single mother, jumping from one routine to another. She had prepared to pick her schedule one after the other. Firstly, to drop off her son in his father's apartment, not knowing that would be her last. Her tragic death unfolded on the afternoon of February 5, 2022, at the Park Plaza Apartments in Brown Deer, Wisconsin. The day began with Arieuna undertaking a routine act of co-parenting, a testament to her dedication to her young son, Egypt. She drove to Larval Huddleston's apartment, located within the complex, to drop off their 2-year-old child. This seemingly ordinary exchange between former partners would soon turn into a scene of unimaginable violence. As Arieuna was either in the process of leaving or had just stepped outside the apartment building, Larval Huddleston committed a shocking and brutal act. From his second-floor balcony, he fired a weapon, striking Arieuna. The suddenness and violence of the attack left little chance for Arieuna to react or escape. The sound of the gunshot would have pierced the relative calm of the residential area, immediately signaling a moment of extreme crisis. The immediate aftermath of the shooting was chaotic and terrifying. Arieuna, struck by the gunfire, would have likely collapsed at the scene. Tragically, the violence did not end there. In a further disturbing turn of events, Larval Huddleston's gunfire also struck 2 innocent bystanders who were present in the vicinity of the apartment complex. One of these bystanders succumbed to their injuries, becoming another innocent victim of Huddleston's rage and violence. The scene that unfolded at the Park Plaza Apartments was one of tragedy and horror. Paramedics and law enforcement officers quickly arrived at the location, responding to the emergency calls. They would have found Arieuna and the other victims suffering from gunshot wounds. Despite the efforts of first responders, Arieuna Nichole Reed was pronounced dead at the scene, her life tragically cut short in a brutal and senseless act. The other bystander who was shot also tragically died. The area surrounding the shooting would have been cordoned off as a crime scene. Investigators would have begun the meticulous process of collecting evidence, documenting the scene, and interviewing witnesses to piece together the exact sequence of events and understand the motive behind Huddleston's deadly actions. The presence of a firearm, spent shell casings, and the locations of the victims would have provided crucial details for the investigation. The fact that this violence occurred during what should have been a routine parental exchange underscores the unpredictable and devastating nature of domestic violence and the potential for extreme escalation. The safety that should have been inherent in a simple act of dropping off a child was shattered by Larval Huddleston's fatal actions, leaving behind a community in shock and a young child without his mother. The events of February 5, 2022, at the Park Plaza Apartments in Brown Deer, Wisconsin, serve as a stark and tragic reminder of the lethal consequences of violence and the profound impact it has on individuals, families, and communities. Arieuna's personality, aspirations, and achievements are similar to an aspiring and bright woman who will always go the extra mile for her son. She is depicted as a woman full of life and purpose, someone who approached the world with enthusiasm and a genuine care for others. Her dedication to her son, Egypt, will be a central theme, underscoring the depth of her love and commitment as a mother. Egypt was undoubtedly a driving force in her life, and her efforts and dreams were intrinsically linked to his well-being and future. Beyond her role as a mother, Arieuna was a hard-working and compassionate professional. Her career as a medical assistant showcased her nurturing nature and her desire to help those in need. She likely provided comfort and support to patients, demonstrating empathy and a strong work ethic. Furthermore, her pursuit of a nursing degree highlights her ambition and her commitment to advancing her education and expanding her ability to care for others. This aspiration speaks volumes about her drive and her desire to make a meaningful contribution to the healthcare field. Equally important were Arieuna's strong connections with her family and friends. She was not an isolated individual but a cherished member of a network of loved ones. Anecdotes and perhaps glimpses of these relationships through photos or brief interviews, if available, will illustrate the depth and significance of these bonds. She was likely a source of support, laughter, and love within her family and friend circles, someone whose presence enriched the lives of those around her. By highlighting these connections, the video will emphasize the ripple effect of her loss, demonstrating the wide circle of people who were deeply affected by her death. This aims to humanize Arieuna, to present her as a complete person with dreams, ambitions, and meaningful relationships. By understanding who she was, her dedication to her son, her professional aspirations, and her strong ties to loved ones, the tragedy of her murder becomes even more poignant, underscoring the immense loss of a life full of potential and love. It serves as a crucial reminder that behind every headline is a human being whose life had value and whose absence leaves an irreplaceable void. The events of February 5, 2022, unfolded with a chilling swiftness, transforming a seemingly routine act of co-parenting into an unimaginable tragedy at the Park Plaza Apartments in Brown Deer, Wisconsin. On this fateful Saturday, Arieuna Nichole Reed undertook the familiar drive to her ex-boyfriend, Larval Huddleston's residence. The purpose of her visit was the simple yet significant act of dropping off their 2-year-old son, Egypt. This exchange, a common occurrence for separated parents navigating the shared care of their child, held no apparent premonition of the horror that was about to erupt. As Arieuna arrived at the Park Plaza Apartments and the familiar routine of the drop-off was underway, a sudden and brutal act of violence shattered the normalcy of the afternoon. Without warning, Larval Huddleston, positioned on his second-floor balcony, produced a firearm and discharged it, striking Arieuna. The elevated position of the shooter offered a vantage point that made Arieuna an unsuspecting and vulnerable target as she stood in the vicinity of the apartment building. The sound of the gunshot would have ripped through the air, a sharp and terrifying disruption to the everyday sounds of the residential complex. The immediate aftermath of the shooting was a scene of chaos and terror. Arieuna, struck by the gunfire, would have likely collapsed at the location where she stood. The suddenness and brutality of the attack would have left anyone nearby in a state of shock and disbelief. Adding to the horror, Larval Huddleston's violence extended beyond Arieuna. His indiscriminate firing from the balcony also struck 2 innocent bystanders who happened to be in the vicinity of the apartment complex at that moment. This expansion of the violence underscored the volatile and uncontrolled nature of Huddleston's actions.
Police continue to search for more clues in a shooting in Brown Deer yesterday that left 3 people dead and a 4th person injured.
Bruce Harrison spoke with the family of a young mother who was among those shot and killed.
Arieuna Reed's brother, Aaron, left Milwaukee. He was afraid to start a family in a violent city. But violence brought him home yesterday in a rush when his sister was shot and killed.
It's like a hole that I ain't gonna never be able to close. You know what I'm saying? It's like
a close family. Big brother Aaron watched out for Ari, as she was known by her family.
I was always there to protect her every day. You know what I'm saying? Any questions, any schoolyard bullies, we went to school together. We 7 to 8 years apart, so I was always the one she came to when anything came up.
Now, he's here to speak for her.
She was the life, you know what I'm saying? She was the life of the family. Anytime we came together, we always looked for my little sister to keep the joy going on around us.
Ari's family says her ex-boyfriend and father of her child shot her to death. She had stopped by his home to drop off their 2-year-old son, Egypt. The suspect's brother tells TMJ4 News that man's name is Larval Huddleston. Police believe the suspect shot and killed himself. Ari's family is struggling to accept that gun violence in the city has touched them.
For it to hit home like the way it's hitting home, it's diabolical. You know, it's really diabolical, and we are hurting so bad.
Ari was studying to be a registered nurse. She also ran a small design company. Her mother, Tracy, told us Ari loved her family. Together, they'll raise Egypt.
Any and everything that he could possibly need or want in life, he can always call me. I'll always come back home in a heartbeat.
Reporting in Milwaukee, Bruce Harrison, TMJ4 News.
The area surrounding the shooting quickly became a chaotic crime scene. The normalcy of the Park Plaza apartments was shattered by the presence of emergency vehicles, flashing lights, and the frantic movements of first responders. Paramedics rushed to the aid of Arieuna and the injured bystanders, but tragically, Arieuna's injuries proved fatal and she was pronounced dead at the scene. One of the bystanders also succumbed to their wounds, becoming another innocent casualty of Huddleston's rage. Law enforcement officers cordoned off the area, their yellow tape marking the boundaries of the investigation. The ground where Arieuna fell became a focal point, a stark reminder of the life that was violently extinguished. Investigators began the painstaking process of documenting the scene, collecting forensic evidence such as shell casings and the potential trajectory of the bullets. Witnesses, those who heard the gunshot or saw the events unfold, would have been interviewed, their accounts piecing together the horrifying sequence of events. The second-floor balcony where Huddleston stood became another critical area of investigation, the point from which the deadly shots were fired. The crime scene at the Park Plaza apartments on February 5, 2022, was a stark tableau of violence and loss, forever marking the location as the site of Arieuna Nichole Reed's tragic and senseless murder. During this live broadcast, amidst what can only be imagined as a highly emotional and volatile state, Huddleston made a specific request to law enforcement. He asked that the police ensure the safe retrieval of his and Arieuna's 2-year-old son, Egypt, who was reportedly with him in the apartment. This request, amidst the horrific violence he had just perpetrated, presents a complex and disturbing picture, suggesting a degree of concern for his child even in the midst of extreme violence. Furthermore, reports and discussions surrounding the case have highlighted larval Huddleston's previous social media activity. These posts reportedly alluded to his struggles with paranoia and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. These glimpses into his online presence suggest that Huddleston may have been grappling with significant mental health challenges in the period leading up to the tragic events. It's important to note that this information is based on reports and discussions surrounding the case, as direct access to his social media posts is no longer available. The existence of these posts paints a complex and tragic picture, suggesting a potential interplay between his mental state and his actions on that day. While these reported struggles with paranoia and PTSD do not excuse the violence, they offer a potential, albeit deeply troubling, context for understanding the events that unfolded. This information underscores the critical importance of addressing mental health issues and the potential for devastating consequences when individuals in crisis do not receive adequate support and intervention. The contrast between the seemingly loving request for his son's safety during the broadcast and the violent acts he committed highlights the fractured and disturbed state of mind he may have been experiencing. The brutal and senseless murder of Arieuna Nichole Reed sent shockwaves through the Brown Deer community and beyond, leaving behind a palpable sense of grief, disbelief, and outrage. The news of such a vibrant young woman, a dedicated mother and aspiring nurse, having her life violently cut short resonated deeply, prompting an outpouring of emotion from those who knew her and even those who did not. The immediate reaction within the community was one of profound sadness and mourning. Friends, family, colleagues, and neighbors grappled with the sudden and tragic loss of Arieuna. Social media platforms became a space for shared grief, with heartfelt tributes and memories of Arieuna flooding timelines. People who knew her personally shared anecdotes highlighting her kindness, her infectious smile, and her dedication to her son and her aspirations. Even those unfamiliar with Arieuna expressed their sorrow and condemnation of the violence, recognizing the profound injustice of her death. Alongside the grief, there was a strong sense of unity and support for Arieuna's loved ones. Candlelight vigils were organized, providing a space for the community to come together, offer condolences, and remember Arieuna's life. These gatherings served as a powerful visual representation of the collective sorrow and the desire to honor her memory. Flowers, messages of love, and moments of silence became expressions of the community's solidarity with Arieuna's family. A significant focus of the community's support quickly turned towards Arieuna's young son, Egypt. Recognizing the immense tragedy he had endured, the loss of his mother in such a violent way, There was a collective desire to ensure his well-being and future. Arieuna's family stepped forward to take on the responsibility of raising Egypt, providing him with a loving and stable environment in the wake of unimaginable loss. The community rallied around Arieuna's family, offering emotional, practical, and often financial support to help them navigate this incredibly challenging time and provide for Egypt's needs. Fundraisers and donation drives were organized to contribute to his upbringing and future care, demonstrating the community's commitment to ensuring that Egypt would be surrounded by love and support despite the absence of his mother. This collective effort to care for Egypt stands as a testament to the community's compassion and their desire to offer some solace in the face of profound tragedy. The tragic death of Arieuna Nichole Reed is not an isolated incident. It intersects with broader societal issues that demand our attention and action. One critical aspect is the pervasive issue of violence against Black women. Statistics and research consistently reveal that Black women experience disproportionately higher rates of domestic violence, sexual assault, and homicide compared to other groups. This reality is rooted in a complex interplay of systemic racism, sexism, and historical factors that often leave Black women marginalized and vulnerable. Arieuna's case, therefore, must be viewed within this larger context, acknowledging the specific challenges and heightened risks faced by Black women in abusive relationships. Addressing this requires a commitment to dismantling systemic inequalities and ensuring that Black women receive equitable protection and support from all systems. Furthermore, Arieuna's story underscores the paramount importance of recognizing the often subtle warning signs that precede violent escalations in potentially dangerous relationships. While physical violence is undeniable, abuse often begins with emotional manipulation, controlling behaviors, isolation from support networks, and verbal degradation. The reports of larval Huddleston's behavior prior to the murder, though not fully detailed in the provided material, likely exhibited some of these red flags. Learning to identify these early indicators, possessiveness, extreme jealousy, controlling finances or communication, threats, and a history of volatile behavior, can empower individuals to seek help for themselves or others before a crisis point is reached. Education and awareness campaigns are crucial in equipping communities with the knowledge to recognize these dangerous patterns and intervene effectively. The information regarding larval Huddleston's reported struggles with paranoia and PTSD compels us to explore the complex intersection of mental health and violence. While mental illness does not cause violence, and the vast majority of individuals with mental health conditions are not violent, untreated or unmanaged mental health issues can, in some cases, contribute to or exacerbate volatile behavior. This tragedy highlights the critical need for accessible and comprehensive mental health services, particularly for individuals exhibiting signs of distress or instability. Recognizing when someone is in crisis and providing appropriate support and intervention could potentially prevent devastating outcomes. It also underscores the importance of destigmatizing mental health and encouraging individuals to seek help without fear or shame. Understanding the potential role of mental health in such tragedies necessitates a nuanced approach that prioritizes both victim safety and access to mental health care for those who need it. The tragic story of Arieuna Nichole Reed serves as a stark reminder that violence, particularly domestic violence, is a pervasive issue with devastating consequences. However, this tragedy does not have to be in vain. It can and must serve as a catalyst for change, prompting us all to take action to prevent future loss and support those who are vulnerable. If you are currently in a relationship where you feel unsafe, controlled, or threatened, please know that you are not alone and help is available. Reach out to trusted friends, family members, or professionals who can offer support and guidance. There are numerous organizations dedicated to assisting individuals in dangerous relationships. Please consider contacting the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE-7233. They provide confidential support, crisis intervention, and referrals to local resources. Additionally, many local shelters and support services exist within your community. A simple online search for Domestic Violence Support, your location, can provide valuable contacts. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, and your safety is paramount. Similarly, If you are concerned about someone you know, a friend, family member, or colleague, who may be in a dangerous relationship, please do not ignore the warning signs. Offer your support, listen without judgment, and encourage them to seek professional help. You can also familiarize yourself with the resources available in your area so that you can provide them with accurate and helpful information. Sometimes, just knowing that someone cares and believes them can be the first step towards seeking safety. Furthermore, it is crucial that we all work to cultivate greater awareness and understanding of the complex issues surrounding domestic violence and mental health. Educate yourselves and others about the warning signs of abuse, the dynamics of power and control in abusive relationships, and the impact of trauma. Support organizations that are working to prevent violence, provide services to survivors, and advocate for policy changes. Engage in conversations within your communities to challenge harmful attitudes and beliefs that perpetuate violence. By increasing our collective understanding and empathy, we can create a more supportive and informed society where victims feel safer to come forward and where abusers are held accountable. Finally, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health challenges, please seek help. Mental health is just as important as physical health, and there are resources available to provide support and treatment. Contact the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI-6264 or visit their website at nami.org to find information and resources in your area. Early intervention and access to mental health care can make a significant difference in the lives of individuals and can potentially prevent crises. Let Arieuna Nichole Reed's tragic story serve as a catalyst for us all to become more informed, more compassionate, and more proactive in addressing the critical issues of domestic violence and mental health. By working together, we can strive to create safer communities where such devastating losses are no longer a reality.